HooHooHooRobin.
I want to bring up Brewer for a second.
Who? Burr?
Jim Brewer.
Oh, Brewer.
He did the 25 Days of Christmas on YouTube. Those videos should have got way more views than it did. Fucking hilarious. And it also shows that Brewer's a psychopath.
Yeah. Oh, we all knew that.
He plays a different character in every fucking video.
Really?
He's completely insane.
I think, we all know he's.
You might want to search that out if you're a big Jim Brewer fan, because the videos really, really are well done and not doing too well.
Hope the language isn't salty in them.
No, not at all.
Salty language.
Relatively clean.
Yeah, a little crazy.
But he plays a cougar. He plays
Really?
so many different characters. Cougar. Laugh out loud funny by our pal Jim Brewer. Yeah. What else is going on, Ant?
I saw that Wall Street 2 last night.
Michael Douglas.
So that, Michael Douglas.
What do you think?
I hate that Shia LaBeouf guy. I don't like that Shia LaBeouf. I don't like that Shia LaBeouf. I don't find him very credible as an actor.
Fuck, man. They love him, though, for some reason.
I know.
He's everywhere.
But it worked, I guess. I would have liked to seen somebody else in that. Michael Douglas,
Schroeder, maybe?
Thought it was really good.
Yeah, what's Ricky doing these days? Why not Ricky Schroeder?
It's Rick Schroeder.
Bad suggestion, guy.
Let's get it going. Why not Ricky Schroeder? Let's get that on the internet.
a little predictable, but
yeah.
But it was kind of cool. It was kind of fun to see Michael Douglas in that role again.
Is it a drop off from the first movie?
Yeah, it's very hard to make a sequel that is as good as the original. But
is his cell phone smaller? That's all I need to know.
And they do make reference to his big phone.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, cell phone. Yeah, which is kind of funny.
That's good because that's
you get to see it again.
What do you mean? Oh, they show the video of him on the beach with the big cell phone?
No, it's when he's getting out of prison at the begining, and they're giving him his stuff.
Oh, they give him the big cell phone back?
And he goes, and one cell phone, click, and they clunk the big one down.
That's great.
This big dumb cell phone.
That's what takes you out of the movie when you go back and see the original Wall Street.
He's walking on the beach with that giant thing. Get 3 minutes of talk time on it, I'm sure.
Right. Wow.
That is an amazingly big phone. Like you know how they go in and they put the guns, they take the guns out of the hands and like E.T., they should actually just replace that with something smaller.
With a gun.
Like a Victrola.
Put it to his head.
Right. Victrola. That thing. And also, you got to remember when the original Wall Street was, out there, no one had cell phones. That's what made that so amazing.
Well, that's a home phone. That's not a cell phone, is it? That's a home phone.
A cell phone.
That's a cell phone.
That's
because he's walking the beach.
The first cell phones, portable cell phones that you walked around with.
That only really, really, really rich people had.
For the most part, people had cell phones, but they had car phones. You didn't even call it a cell phone. You said, I got a car phone. And it had the little pigtail antenna on the rear window or something, and
right,
and in the J.C. Whitney catalog, which was a great catalog if you wanted to soup up your car with something. You used to get the J.C. Whitney catalog, and I would thumb through that, going like, "Oh, I'd love to have that for my Chevelle or something." It was just a bunch of crap that you put on your car. They'd sell these fake pigtail antennas that you put on your car to make people think you had a car phone.
That shit.
So you'd be driving and people would look over like, well,
damn, look at this
guy's got a fucking car phone, motherfucker.
Wouldn't that make people break into your fucking car?
Nah, it was the point people didn't even know what to do with these things.
Right.
Never mind, you're gonna steal them. What are you gonna do with it? You gotta get some kind of service. I don't know, but it was a car phone hooked into your battery. It was hardwired in. My father had one out in California when I went out there back in the 80s. And I was calling my friends, and I'm like, I'm driving this big fucking Suburban,
nice,
whatever it was.
Old school Suburban?
No, an old Blazer.
Nice.
It was an old Blazer with the top off and shit.
I used to love my Blazer.
This was an old big four-wheel drive Blazer, like a 70s version.
Square, right? Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And big four-wheel drive. And I'm like, yeah, what's up, man? Where am I? I'm cruising around in Buena Park right now. I think I'm where I don't even know where the fuck I am, but I'm on a phone in a car. And my father's like, "Did you make calls? Do you realize it's like $18 a second
minute? Right.
for this fucking thing? Whether you get a call or make a call, it's just crazy."
Yeah.
So Yeah, so they showed that in the movie, which was good. I thought it was kind of funny. But the movie was good. Decent
right.
movie. You won't watch it and go like, oh, that sucked.
Yeah, people.
Which to me is a good movie these days. If you
It just hangs there, I think, because people don't really talk about it.
Yeah.
They didn't say it sucked, but they're not like real excited about it.
And I wasn't at the point where I needed to see it when it came out. I waited for it came, but not like True Grit. I wanted to see right away. And now that people are seeing it more and more, they're commenting on how he does sound exactly like Carl from Sling Blade.
The True Grit.
When he's talking.
Jeff Bridges and
Jeff Bridges. Jeff Bridges is like the man now, though. He's in a lot of shit. He's getting accolades.
Yeah, man.
Could be, I would think for True Grit also, I do think I see some Academy Award material.
Shit, we're talking Oscars already?
I think I see some Academy Award material in there. Some acting is very good. The girl was very good, I thought, in that movie.
Mm-hmm. I haven't seen it yet. I got
It's my little movie break.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Oh, someone's calling you white trash because of the J.C. Whitney catalog.
Oh, yeah. Come on, Long Island. I lived on Long Island.
But it brings up a good...
Love that J.C. Whitney catalog when I was growing up.
Brings a good topic to the table. The dumbest gadget for your car that was out there.
Oh, the J.C. Whitney catalog was full of them.
Do you remember the one where you mounted it and it was, I want to say it was a bomb sound effect, I think? And
yeah.
And you pushed it if someone was pissing you off in traffic.
And it would be like...
But they, of course, the person pissing you off wouldn't hear it. It's just you and in your stupid car.
Yeah.
Make it believe you're firing missiles at the car.
Missile.
Do you remember that?
Yes, it was horrible.
Is that the sound it made?
Yeah, it made some bad fucking
If we could find that on
Atari sound.
Online, that would be great. I'm trying to think of some of the other dumb fucking gadgets they had.
Yeah, there were
that came and went.
There were a lot of them in that stupid catalog, like bolt-on accessories, things that were supposed to make your car look better.
Right.
A lot of spoilers.
Yeah.
People like those spoilers. Yeah, God, I'm trying to think of some of those.
We could start with like the bumper bra, obviously, that dumb thing. Remember that?
Yeah.
That was just looked exhausting to put on your car.
Horrible.
Yeah.
There was a little sign that you would hold up and flip things over, like, "Hey, you cut me off."
Oh, really?
Why you? And it wasn't even electronic.
Here we go. They're calling. Joe in Boston. Joe.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey.
When you have a turbo in your car, it spools up and makes this noise. Well, they used to sell this speaker you'd mount on the inside of the engine compartment, and when you hit a button, it would make that fucking noise.
Make a fake turbo sound.
Yeah, that was great. Later, guys.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
I think we gave up on all those gadgets. What was the decade for the gadgets? 80s, maybe?
70s,
70s through
late
80s.
70s, 80s. That was
when the 90s hit. They finally said enough of this horse shit.
I got the Baja Bug kit for my Volkswagen. I used to go out and buy like a 67, 66 Volkswagen Beetle and just take the Sawzall to it. And then you bolt on these fiberglass fenders and the back, you cut the whole back so the engine was exposed, cut the front off and put the nose piece on. And I had one of those for quite a while. And that came from the J.C. Whitney catalog. I was so excited when it showed up.
I could imagine.
Like a kid in a candy store.
Let's say hi to Bill in Georgia. Bill.
Hey, what about the double wiper blades that had the louvers on them?
Yeah, the louvers.
Right.
Those were the faster you drove. They were supposed to hold the wiper blade closer to your windshield tighter.
Right.
And rear window louvers were big too. Bolt-on rear window louvers, and of course, install it yourself moonroof. That would leak like it was raining in your car.
What do you mean you installed it yourself?
Yeah.
You had to cut the hole?
They give you a template, and you fucking put it on the roof. And,
Get the I don't remember that.
And you get your Sawzall, and you fucking cut that shit out. Louie C.K.
has just entered the studio.
What's up, buddy?
Yeah, you cut it out, and then it never looked good. The headliner inside the car would all start falling down.
Oh, of
course. It would
course.
come out from the flange because it was never tight enough. It was never watertight.
How'd you cut the hole?
With a Sawzall.
You had to have that.
Oh yeah. You gotta have your equipment.
You had to have your tools to put in your own
tools.
sunroof.
Oh yeah. A lot of that good shit, though.
Fucking Louie, man. You're like really famous now.
Yeah, I know. When he walked
You're
in,
like
I'm
really
looking-
famous. I'm like, holy
I
shit.
was looking a little different.
I got a little nervous. I got a little nervous.
I was a little like, oh, shit.
We've had Louie on so many times, but now I'm looking at him differently. Like, God, he's really
That's
famous.
that Louis C.K. guy. I watch his show, and
He does a Leno show, and then that clip goes viral, and holy shit, you're famous.
Crazy.
My
I'm
God.
not
Funny or
famous.
Die loves
I'm
you.
not famous.
I'm not.
You're really
Nah,
famous.
you're pretty fucking
No.
famous there,
Holy
Louis.
shit,
Well,
you're famous.
Yeah, don't worry. We won't jinx it for you, but
Yeah.
you got
I'm surprised you're even here. You're that famous. You're not supposed to do the show anymore. You're that famous.
It's so funny how people don't ever see the cycle coming. You know what I mean?
Oh, the up and down.
Yeah, I mean, I see it. I see it already.
Are you
I already
ahead
see
of-
the horizon.
Do you see the
coming.
horizon?
Yeah.
Do you see the dip?
Yeah, the not sun rising on the horizon. I already see it.
Louie, I saw you at Carnegie Hall. I didn't want to bother you after the show.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking standing ovation. And
That was
I'm-
pretty fun, man.
But it's just you dressed like shit and a stool getting a standing ovation. I'm like, shouldn't there be an orchestra or something to get a standing ovation?
Yes. No, I'm wearing the same right now. The same clothes I wore.
Yeah, you didn't dress up for Carnegie Hall.
No, I
Why
pulled
would
this
you?
shit on to be on the radio. I wore the same thing for Carnegie Hall.
I was amazed. I'm like, that's why Louis is as good as he is, because he's not
He
dressing
never
up
wears
for
suits,
Carnegie
right?
Hall.
You know, you
never, never. And the thing is, when I play rooms that size, like this, the tour I just finished was all rooms that size or bigger. In Chicago, I did the Chicago Theater. I did 2 shows there.
Wow.
But
How big is that?
That's like 3,600 seats. So it was like 7,000 people in one night. And it was the perfect way to get ready for Carnegie Hall, is that by the time I got there, I'm like, well, I've been doing this kind of room. But nothing prepares you for that place, because Chicago Theater, it's enormous, it's beautiful, but it's in the middle of shit Chicago, and the dressing room is peeling paint, and Joey Ramone signed the coffee table, whatever, which I love. That's what I love. But you go to Carnegie Hall and they show you into the Maestro Suite, which has this gold plaque on it, and
Holy
this
shit.
guy bows as you walk through the fucking door, and it's like, oh my God, there's a whole other. And if Yo-Yo Ma plays there, he doesn't go to the Maestro Suite. He goes to the fucking musician room.
Right.
You're in the
Maestro
maestro.
Suite. Yeah,
You're
I'm
the
in
main guy. You're the guy.
George Gershwin fucking got
Maestro.
blown in there. And so yeah, it's a whole other level.
It was such a great show, and I want to give props to Ted Alexandro. Is he doing all your
I hired him
for the tour?
No, he did. I toured with him some last year, and this year I worked with Todd Glass a lot and some other guys. But
I saw Ted. I just want to give him props. He's
a funny dude, man.
did
he didn't
great
know.
at
I
Carnegie.
hired him the day before.
To do Carnegie.
Yeah.
What an asshole.
I know.
What an asshole.
I
you
couldn't
are.
decide who to open for me, and I figured I can get anybody. But then I got close, and I'm like, no, folks aren't really actually available.
Right.
And I wrote Ted. I love Ted. I just couldn't decide. And then I wrote him the day before and said, I need you at 8:00 tomorrow at 57th Street and 6th Avenue. That's all I said to him. And he looked it up.
I'm playing the coffee shop.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he's really, it was funny because he just wrote back, okay. And that was it. Like, he knew what it was. He just went, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And he's shitting his pants as he's writing okay.
But he wore a suit, and his
Yeah, he
dad
did.
came. It was
Yeah, he
great
did.
to have that Ted got
Did you feel bad not having a suit? I wear that sometimes, and I'm like, it doesn't feel right. But you just do it because you like. I think I'm supposed to.
You feel obligated.
Well, I want to wear suits. I wish I could wear a suit. Like, the image in my head
Right.
of being on stage in a suit and tie is really cool.
That's class.
Yeah, that's class.
It's all class.
But then when I wear one, I feel just weird, and my shirt starts coming out of my pants, and I don't
Wear a t-shirt under it. Like, I don't wear a tie. I can't wear a tie. It's too fucking restrictive.
Yeah.
Honestly, it works for Lou. It really just,
I
it just
like.
works.
I wish I could dress up. I just don't. I don't pull it off, and I wish I did.
I think your act and your personality is more conducive to just casual wear.
Yeah. Last time I did the Tonight Show, I brought a suit and tie, and I put it on,
It said, fuck this.
and then the last second,
Wow, really?
I was like fucking what's his name in Cold Blood, pulling off my having to pee before I get hung. I ripped everything off and ran out.
Good for you.
Yeah,
man.
I can't do it. First time I did Letterman, I wore a suit, And I remember Mitch, what's his name, the comedian here in
Hedberg?
Yeah, he came up to me and said, "Why'd you wear a suit? You don't wear suits." And I was like, "Well, it's a respect for the institution." To me, doing Letterman was like graduating from something.
Yeah.
And he's like, "That's phony. If I did Letterman, I wear sneakers and jeans." I'm like, "Well, go ahead. I don't know. I wanted to wear a suit." It's like, "Well, this isn't you." And I'm like, "Well," and then he did Letterman. He wore a fucking suit.
He did.
Yeah.
What a downer, though. Yeah. It's like, hey, I'm trying to enjoy my
I love when people have
moment.
these phony rebellions. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Wow, you and Anne Frank really.
Louie, I got to ask you about the TV show. Where are we at? The first season was a huge hit.
Yeah, I did really great. I mean, only 14 people watch those things, but
man,
but it was well liked by all 14.
Everybody. That was one
You
of
did
those
numbers, didn't you?
Fucking
Yeah, we did well
man.
for cable. Yeah, we did great.
FX is a perfect place for you.
It's great. I wouldn't want more people to have access to the show, honestly.
Yeah,
I really
some
wouldn't.
people start bitching.
Yeah, like we're doing a second season, and we're moving to 10:30 from 11, just inching back a half an hour. At first they said let's go to 10. That's what they're going to. 10 is technically kind of primetime television.
Yeah.
So they're going to move it to 10. And because the numbers for the show are strong enough to move it to 10. That's what they told me. To then grow it. And then they said, we're doing 10:30. I'm like, what happened to 10? They said, well, no, we can't. Your show can't. They said, believe me, you're better off. Just stay.
well, you don't want them fucking with it. You don't want them moving it
right.
to 10 and then going, all right, well, you can't
Gotta
do
take
this, you
this
can't
word
do
out,
that.
you gotta-
You have
exactly
total
right.
freedom, dude.
I'm exactly. If I was on any other network at any other time period, I would not be able to do this. Show the way it is because the advertisers wouldn't buy it. He showed the guy at the network showed it to advertisers that buy 10 p.m. time, which is far more expensive than 10:30 time.
Fuck.
And they were like, "We're not. What are you crazy?
You're insane."
When's the second season hit? It's going to be
Guy
a while.
fucks a hole in a wall and then talks about Jesus.
Puts his penis in the hole.
Yeah, we're not.
That dentist scene that you did was.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Thanks.
That was hysterical. Gervais
The
was
inferred mouth fuck.
Yeah.
I woke up from the dentist once and thought I feel like he
thought
fucked my
something like
mouth.
that, right?
my mouth.
I assumed it was
Yeah.
based on something, Lo.
No, that whole thing is true. It is that dentist thing. I took nitrous and lots of drugs, and I went in my mind to the desert.
Wow.
Met Bin Laden and talked him out of terrorism.
Talked him out of
I
it,
seriously had that experience so viscerally that when I came out of it and out of the nitrous, I was like, that's the realest hallucination or dream I've ever had.
That really happened.
Yeah.
Damn.
Exactly.
The Ricky Gervais was great on it too.
Yeah, he's
Playing that
awesome.
And your reaction to him when he would just
Stuck
fuck
his
with
finger
you.
in my ass. And he's great.
And then he would get you again, and you'd get mad at him.
Yes.
It's fucking
Yeah.
brilliant.
No, it was a fun.
When's
thing
the
to
second
do.
season going to hit? It's a few more months. I'm
June.
sure.
I start
June,
shooting
okay.
in a couple of weeks.
Great.
I already shot the stand-up for it. I did some stand-up. I did a show in Atlanta, and we shot the stand-up.
Oh, you're changing the venue.
Yeah,
For the
I'm
stand-up.
I also did the Comedy Cellar,
Right.
but I like I do more concerts now than I do
Right.
that I did then. So I just wanted to use
Yeah, right on,
So
man.
sometimes you'll see me in a concert, and I'll probably also shoot at Caroline's again. And
You're really famous.
Dude, Louie, something happened where, like, Louie's a famous guy, but something happened in the last, it was before the show. It started, I think, with almost like the set on Conan, talking about flying. Something just put you through the fucking roof, though. It was like that next, that put you that one level higher where you are just mainstream famous.
It might be the
Yeah.
Sarah Palin drunk tweets.
those actually did a lot. For me. Those did a lot.
Do you feel like
And I took them down, but
I know, but do you feel like you could still do that, or you're a little worried about what?
Well,
people
it
around you
is
are gonna
true
say.
that nobody. I mean, the thing that happens with notoriety is that at first you grow because more and more people like you. But then you get pushed over this edge where people start becoming aware of you that don't know who you are and that don't like you.
And take you out
That's
of
the dangerous
context.
thing about it is that, and because I'd love to have only exactly all the people that are like me
Right,
to know who I am.
That'd be a great world to live in.
And that nobody who doesn't have me as a taste is aware of me. And actually, the internet, I think, lets people grow that way. There's people.
Yeah.
This tour I did. We sold out every city easily with no advertising, which means you make more money because you don't spend that money.
Right.
But I was in Philadelphia and I did this show in this huge theater there. I forget what it was called. And this guy I know came and he was like, I don't understand. He's a big money guy. Like he invests and makes money. He says, I live in Philly. I never heard of this show. I never heard you're coming here.
Wow.
I don't understand how you sold out. And that's because exactly the people that like me know who I am, and nobody else does.
And they know where you are and where you're going to be. And,
but as I'm pushing a little further, there's people that don't like my shit that know who I am, and that's when shit like saying Sarah Palin has people coming out of her cunt or whatever it was that I said.
It was rather
Chinese
salty,
people
Lou.
living in her cunt. Yeah, it was a little unnecessary.
One of my favorite things
uncalled for.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things is when I get
barbaric attack.
when I get a tweet from someone going, "Oh boy, he's on a plane and he's drunk," and I go right to your Twitter and I just follow along.
Yeah. Well, I am definitely like a stereotypical Indian with the rum. Something happens to me. Something happens to me.
Don't you feel
with
compelled?
rum, Coke and rum, I get riled up.
Yeah,
and I get a little crazy.
You feel compelled to just grab a drink the second you get on a plane.
Yeah, no,
I don't know what that is with me.
reason.
I'm like Bloody Mary guy. Like the second I get on a plane, can I have a Bloody Mary? And it's because I never really know or care what time it is. And a Bloody Mary you could have for breakfast.
No, that's exactly right.
So if it's 7 in the morning and I'm catching a flight or something, it's like, oh, Bloody Mary. And then you just feel good. You're clinking around your little drink and you're drinking, and then you start tweeting.
No, because there's something about alcohol and the mixture of oxygen on a plane.
That's
deliberate. It's not the atmosphere. The oxygen you breathe on a plane is mixed by a person. You know what I mean? They decide how much.
Yeah, how much
you need.
There.
If they shut it off, you die. I mean, it's that's how that golfer dies. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice to know.
So when you're drinking, the oxygen does.
There's something about the mix that every plane probably has a mandatory mix. I'm sure there isn't a knob that the person can go, fuck these people, like tweak it up or down.
I think it's factory set.
Hey, let's go to 13% on these fucking assholes.
They get a little rambunctious. Let's slow them down a bit.
They can feel like they're on Mount Everest.
Lethargic.
Yeah, so airplanes are the only place that most human beings share that your oxygen level is totally regulated.
Yeah,
because in this room, I'm sure it's less than outside.
This is a great discussion to have with the Secret Service someday if the wrong tweet is sent out. No, you don't understand. It's the oxygen was regulated. Combined with alcohol.
Exactly.
It was hammered.
I was reading those and I was like, oh, Lou.
No, I
got a lot to lose
it was
now.
funny to me the first time I did it. It was funny to me that people got worried for me. Like I started sending them, and I immediately got a response from somebody at FX, a pretty high up executive at FX, wrote and said, "You got to take these down and apologize." I mean, this is within this. This is the great, amazing thing about today. I'm on an airplane, and not only am I communicating with the ground, but I am broadcasting to 250,000 people instantly through Twitter, and then getting instant angry feedback from and receiving it
at
right?
35,000.
All of that is happening at 35,000 feet, and then I'm.
You were talking to way more than 250,000.
Because everyone was retweeting.
Yeah, they're passing along to other people.
It was funny, the indignation. I don't know this Louis C.K., but I don't like him. Some of the comments are very funny.
Some people got really angry. And also this show fucked me up with it. This show got me in trouble.
Of course it did.
Because the tweets themselves, people just thought were just childish and pathetic, which they were.
Yeah.
But somebody hooked it up with a YouTube sound video of this show where I said stuff about her kid with Down syndrome.
They'll always rat out like the fans. You got to realize, people.
We're the worst
Shut up.
fans.
Be cool.
You raised a brilliant point with that, though.
Show the fuck out sometime.
You said her age, the kid's age, is not Down syndrome. You won't notice the difference at that age because it's so young. I think it was a brilliant point.
Here's the thing about it, because I said, the point I was making was that she's saying that there's joys and challenges to having a Down syndrome child. She was saying this during the election.
Yeah.
And at the time, her baby was very, very young, like, less than a month or something.
Right, yeah, it was very young.
And so who cares if it's a Down syndrome baby? Now, of course, I was doing it on this show, and it's not a political show.
No.
So I also said, who cares how many people came out of your retard making cunt? Like I salted it up a little. I made it a little spoonful of sugar is the way I was looking at it.
That was pepper on a substantial meal that you were serving.
Yes.
A little spice.
So, but anyway, all these like Breitbart and some big right-wing sites found that video and then hooked it up with the tweets and said he hates people with Down syndrome. That's why. Of course I do. That's why I went after her, because I just fucking hate those people. But so, and then I felt like I'm okay. I'm not saying anything. I'm ashamed. But then I got this fucking email from this guy who said, "I want to start by saying I hate Sarah Palin. She's a terrible person. But what you said about children with Down syndrome is extremely hurtful." And I'm like, I'm thinking, okay, I didn't say anything bad about people with Down syndrome.
Right.
So I'm nearly deleting the email. And then there's a fucking picture of his daughter. And he says,
shit.
And he says, what you don't understand is that Down syndrome isn't just something that depletes a person's learning ability. It's a really difficult thing to cope with in life. And a baby with Down syndrome needs surgery often right after birth and medication that you can't believe how expensive it is. He says her birth was such a difficult thing for our family. It destroyed our family.
Like,
my wife and I broke up over the stress of it.
Wow.
But my daughter's the greatest thing in my life, and we're all, it's just pure joy, but it's so hard. And it's extreme. And he was so respectful that it was breaking my heart.
Yeah.
He never said, "You filthy piece of shit." He just said, "You're so wrong, you wouldn't believe it."
But it's like
you're so way off. You're spreading a thing that's really, really harmful. And I felt like such a piece of shit.
But he was making it real, and you're making it fun.
Yeah, but that guy might have
but
Louie,
I said though, the one thing I said that was wrong. I don't like saying things that are just wrong. I mean it because it's not wrong that she has a retard making cunt, because that's what one came out of there. It's not a nice way of saying it.
It's not medical, but
Of course not. Your technical jargon.
But, go ahead, Dr. Lou.
The thing that was wrong to say is that there's no challenges to having a Down syndrome baby. I just didn't know that. And, we always say reckless shit. I don't care. I don't fact check my comedy.
Sure. No, you shouldn't have
the
to.
goal is a
you just
laugh.
let it out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The only thing is that guy, he might have saved, because what he showed you was the passion that people feel about that, and it's like they may have come at, like that may have been a very helpful email in the long run. Like sometimes you underestimate how frustrated people are with something, and then you hit it and they come after you, and it's fucking relentless.
The best thing would have been like 5 minutes later, get another email, go, "I'm just fucking with you," with a picture of a beautiful daughter, just perfect.
Yeah. She's amazing.
This is
It's
my
all
daughter.
A's.
I'm just fucking with you. I don't care. I was laughing my balls off.
No, and I've gotten angry emails before, and I never care. It's not my lookout. Other people people choose what to get offended by. People get offended by. I had a funny moment at the Comedy Cellar. I did this joke about 9/11.
Oh, I don't go for that.
You see? You see? I was doing a story about when I was married. It was really about how being married, you're in trouble all the time. You feel like you're in trouble when you're married, Anthony.
Constantly.
I don't get that sense from you. You guys seem like you're okay.
Yeah, we're all right, man.
Yeah.
I wish I had a story,
that's because you hit her, right? Because if you hit her, it's not.
Sometimes you got it.
So it goes the other way.
What's better than when you go to scratch your eye and they flinch?
But honestly, my old relationship, I could relate. Yeah,
you're
you
always
walked
in
around
trouble.
feeling like you were in trouble. So you're hitting on something.
So I was in L.A. and at 6 a.m. my hotel room phone rang. My phone rang, and my wife at the time was crying. And I was like, "What the fuck is this? Did she find a phone sex bill?" She can't talk. I'm like, "What is it?" And then she tells me, "Turn on the TV," and it's both the World Trade Center towers are on fire. And I was like, "Woo!" That's the only person.
Oh, shit.
That's the only person
Oh, damn.
to be deeply relieved
That it wasn't something else.
that two planes
That
were
would
flown in the world.
Something wasn't. It wasn't.
That America would never feel safe again.
That's a great show.
Anyway, I did it. I told that story at the Comedy Cellar, and this guy stood up and just stood up in that little room and said, "That's not okay, man. It's not okay." And he walked out. So then I'm upstairs talking to Mark Maron, a comedian.
Yeah.
And I said, this guy told him the story, and I said, I hate people that pick the thing in the show. That's what I'm offended by, because I said all kinds of shit in that show, and he let it go, but that's his sensitivity. So I said it's really narcissistic of people to decide what they're going to be offended by. And Mark said, that's how insane it is that you're calling that guy a narcissist, when that joke is the most narcissist thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
It's only important to you.
You were pleased that thousands of people were dead because you weren't in trouble with your fucking wife, because you didn't know how to fucking face your wife.
Shit. That's really funny.
Once in a while, you get fucking shit. Like, I did a 9/11 joke. It was probably a year after, not even. And I was doing something, and it wasn't a knock on 9/11. It was like somebody misinterpreting it. But the woman in the audience.
It wasn't a knock on 9/11.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to insult 9/11.
Hey.
It was a brilliant program. I mean, it's one of the most successful things I've ever seen.
But it was one of those things where I knew the person was misinterpreting the point of the joke, and she was kind of like saying something, and the woman behind her was looking at me, and she was just shaking her head no, like don't do this. I started going after her, and the woman behind her was like, and I backed off, and then they told me after, like, yeah, her husband died, and so I was really happy I backed off, because I was gonna make it a whole big thing like that, like, you fucking cunt, with the fuck, don't mind me talking about rape.
Right.
But once in a while, you back off and you're happy you did. It's like, even though technically, all right, she was being annoying.
Yeah.
Well, you're talking to a group of people, and you could never be aware. You can't make people fill out a thing and then do a data report.
Right.
Well, that's why anybody that calls or however they get in touch with us and they say something like, I'm a big fan of the show. I've been listening for years.
But that one thing.
When you said this, and it's like, you listened for years. You know how many fucking people we probably upset over the years that weren't you? You fucking idiot.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
But and a lot also some people get offended just because they I'm sure there's 9/11 victims who find that shit funny. There has to be.
There has to be, right.
A lot of times when we make fun of these things, we're just using them as in a context. The thing I said is about the misery. Marriage is so prohibitively constraining that a national disaster is good news.
It's not so
to
much
you
making light of the disaster,
problem.
it's showing how awful marriage is.
It's also brutally honest.
Yeah.
A lot of people have felt relief at something that wasn't affecting them that was worse for other people. You were just being fucking ugly and naked and honest about it. That's the beauty of it.
This is the most fucked up thing to say, but if you suffered
you could have stopped the attacks and didn't.
I could have, but I wanted the bit. I had inside information. But I thought, God, that bit is so funny, I'm going to let it go. If you suffer directly or indirectly from something, you don't own it. You just don't.
No, you don't. You're right.
Unless your name is 9/11.
We have, all of us in here have goofed on things that have directly affected our lives. Sure. Personally affected our lives.
Of course.
And some of the things people know about, some they don't. Yeah, but whatever.
It's not
and
yours.
you just do it. It's not yours. It's not fucking, it's whatever it is. You put it over the air to make people laugh or think or whatever the fuck we're doing in here. But it's not, I'm not singling out all the people that this will offend. Hey, let me offend some people today with this. No, I'm going for the people that it doesn't
and
affect.
if you took part in something or something, you suffered from something, that doesn't give you the right to, if it's a thing that happened in the war, especially something that happened to the whole country, you don't get to control who gets to say what about it. And by the way, you get to get offended about it. That's my main thing about people getting offended. Yeah, you got offended. So that gets to happen. That's part of living on the earth.
But there's been this whole thing that's taken place over the past few years where people absolutely believe that there is a right
to not be offended, to not hear something,
and especially if it's over airwaves and stuff like that. They think that the FCC, they can complain to the FCC and say they were offended by something, and absolutely think that the FCC will go, "Hey, fuck you."
Well, I subscribe to the thought that laughter really is the best medicine.
It's straight talking, Jim.
Yeah,
That's right.
I don't want to get too serious.
I got an email once because of the Catholic Church video that I have on YouTube, where I go to the church and find out that they completely exist to fuck boys in the ass.
Hilarious, by the way.
And
fucking hysterical.
And I've gotten to number emails about that, and less than I thought I would.
Wow.
But it's funny that most people that complain about it, they'll say, Jesus is Lord and you've offended him, and I'm going to crack your fucking head open, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, I get that all the time.
Which is really an
people
odd
say,
little...
from a Christian point of view, you've hurt Jesus, and I'm going to fucking split your head open, you cunt. Like, they're so profane and so threatening.
That forgiveness shit goes out the window when it comes to religion.
But anyway, one guy wrote to me and said, my uncle is a Catholic priest and you insulted him. And I wrote him back and I said, no, I don't know your uncle.
It's not like I didn't insult him.
No,
personally.
I made a broad joke about a whole group, and it's got nothing to do with your uncle. And he wrote back and said, I know, and then we wrote back and forth, and we figured it out.
And you two fagged out? What happened? I don't like the end of that story.
I got to interrupt because we got Ron Perlman outside the studio.
He's out at 8:15.
He only has a few minutes, so we should get him in as well. By the way, as Ron makes his way into the studio, Louie C.K. Hilarious will make its network television premiere this Sunday night at 10 on Comedy Central.
Yes.
Hearing great things about Hilarious.
I've seen it.
What's up, Ron?
It is hilarious.
And it's going to be on CD and DVD Tuesday, January 11th.
Perlman.
Louis C.K. But first, we got Ron Perlman in the studio.
Hey, how you doing? How are you? Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Ron Perlman, huge fan of Louis C.K.
We're on the same network, this guy.
Yeah.
FX.
I know. Unbelievable with the Sons of Anarchy.
That show was so good.
I don't fucking know.
Sons of Anarchy in the same place.
Sons
They're
of Anarchy.
very liberal-minded, those guys.
Yes.
And stupid.
That's crazy.
What's up, Ron?
How you doing, everybody?
Yeah, man. Been
Welcome
watching
to the
Ron
show.
for years.
Good to see
Absolutely.
Unbelievable. One of my favorites. I got to just bring it up real quick. Alien. What was it? Resurrection.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
No, that was one of the franchises I managed to close down. I went through a spate of that. I closed down a lot of venerable old institutions. Star Trek, they never made another one of those.
That was done. They had to reboot the whole
What I'm
Start over
proudest
'cause of
about,
you?
and this is probably more a public service than anything else, was I closed down the Police Academy franchise.
Oh, thank you for doing that.
You're
on the
really
last
did
one of
that,
those?
Yeah.
You should get a trophy for that.
Definitely the last one of those. And I take personal credit for it, too.
But look at what you're doing with like Hellboy. People love Hellboy.
I closed that one, too.
I liked it. Jesus Christ.
Thank you.
You're in the island of Dr. Moreau. How nuts was Brando to be around?
Brando was actually he was like the Rock compared to some of the shit that was on that set.
That's one of the weirdest movies I ever saw.
That was like, after Heaven's Gate, the biggest clusterfuck in movie history.
Really?
Yeah.
Did him and Val Kilmer not like each other? There was something between him and Val Kilmer?
I really can't comment. One of them is still alive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that movie was crazy.
Yeah.
That movie just started feeling like you were just hanging around that island after a while.
You actually felt like you were
You
there?
should have been there. It was. I mean, they actually hired me. I was really in essentially one scene and then a couple of little pops, and I was my deal was for 3 weeks. I ended up being there for 4.5 months.
Oh my God!
And at one point I just turned to the director and said, "What the fuck is going on?" And he goes, "Well," and it was the great John Frankenheimer, one of his last assignments. The great late John Frankenheimer, but he was like an old school dude, just completely like not part of the 21st century at all, and. Although this was the early 90s, so he was entitled, I guess. He says, well, Marlon says, give it to the guy from Quest for Fire. I said, give what to the guy? He says, every one of Val's lines. Just give it to him.
The guy from Quest.
That guy can act. So I said, I may be here for the rest of my born days, right? He goes, possibly, Ron.
Oh my God!
You're in Season of the Witch.
That's true.
Is the new movie that's coming out? Nicolas Cage.
Right.
Nicolas Cage. What a movie machine he is! Jesus Christ.
He makes a lot of films.
He does make a lot of goddamn.
Guy's got to be
films.
pulling in $300-400 grand a year.
I'll put an edge.
He seems.
You think that much? He's I think he's working on 3 right now.
Jesus.
Simultaneously.
He's going to start doing them live after a while.
No, that's me. I'll come to your house if you can't go to the theater. I'll do the whole fucker. I play all the parts.
When is that opening up?
It opens Friday.
Friday?
Friday the 7th, yeah.
And who are you? Who are you in that?
I'm his buddy.
Oh, really? Is this a stretch?
It's a buddy film. It's a lot. It's a lot of things. It's but essentially, and what was most attractive to me was that he and I are these 2 warriors, warrior knights in the Crusades, and we've been fighting kind of shoulder to shoulder for like 12.5 years, and so. It's on that level. It's a buddy movie, and then it's kind of like Bing Crosby and Bob Hope road picture.
On the road,
we are all things to all people. And then there's a little witchcraft, a little this, a little that, a little song and dance.
When you got into acting, did you think because you have become kind of this action star guy?
Yes, at 60 I turned.
Or at 60,
just when I can't do anything about it, they actually want me to run up hills.
Oh, Jesus!
Wow. Yeah, because I've noticed over the years, like at first, early on, you weren't really cast in the action roles, and now a little later in your career, I guess.
Well, everyone else has died off. Is what happened.
That's what it is. So they're giving you the parts.
Yeah, if you hang out long enough, you're the only one that's left on that list.
And you were like one of the most well-known, unrecognized people on Beauty and the Beast years ago.
Yeah.
When you were on that TV series. How was that? That must have been. Was it frustrating for you?
No, actually, just the opposite.
Yeah.
I mean, I you see guys like Nick Cage really have to give thought to their every movement. They just, and I'm at the, the Gelsons in LA at, 2 o'clock in the afternoon and no one cares.
No.
I mean, I can go anywhere. I can just, to this day and do anything. I have never had to make an alteration to my, sordid lifestyle.
You're pretty recognizable though. Jesus.
Well, yeah. I think the FX show, which is the same
Sons of Anarchy,
Louie's on. Has magnified the profile, but I mean, I was able to basically move through life, unfettered, because just nobody gave a shit.
Fucking honesty, I love it.
Holy shit!
Hey,
It's a little too early in the morning to lie.
You know what? More of that. Let's say hi to Bill in Boston. Bill.
Hey, Ron, I just want to let you know that I love your work on Sons of Anarchy, and I really like the Mutant Chronicles. I really enjoyed that movie. Thanks for all your work.
Oh, it's my pleasure, my friend. My pleasure.
All right. You have a question, or you just want to kiss his ass? I guess that's it.
No question.
All right, no question.
Have a nice day, Bill.
He just loves Sons of Anarchy and everything.
And the Mutant Chronicles.
And of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Who will ever forget?
What do you? I guess a lot of people.
Bill didn't forget.
What do you like watching? What kind of shows you enjoy?
I'm a kind of a. I've turned into a political junkie a little bit.
Really?
But I get all my news through MSNBC because I'm like, I'm a lifelong, lower middle class Jew lefty from Upper Manhattan. So I like having my news filtered through, a blue lens
Through the liberal.
So I'm a Chris Matthews freak. Watch that show, TiVo that show every day, and when I'm on my own time, it's just Turner Classic Movies, pretty much.
Yeah,
that's my antidote to a cold, hard, really cruel world.
Really?
Do you go back and watch old black and white movies and go,
what a sinful time.
Humphrey, Carrie, Bert. That's it, man. I mean, it's just another time and place.
A simpler time. Yes.
It seems like it was. It seems like it was. There was a little order of the universe back then.
Little English people with high collars arguing very politely.
Yeah, with their little pinky out.
I was watching one of those movies, and it was these English guy in trial for murder, and the lawyer's supposed to be a brilliant, arguer or whatever, debater. You're better than me. Yeah. And he's like, I put it to you that you murdered her. And the guy says, I put it to you that I didn't. I put it to you that you did. And everyone's like, ooh.
A lot of people are putting it to a lot of other motherfuckers.
Yeah. Got some people booing that you said MSNBC there, Ron.
Oh, really?
Fuck them.
Well, politics will absolutely divide everybody and get them.
Yeah, but it's like a
going
sports
for the
team
throat.
now.
Right.
Yeah,
Fox
it really is.
News
Yeah.
versus MSNBC.
That's all it is. You're right.
Fuck the Red Sox, boss.
Yankees, Red Sox.
Should start buying your MSNBC jersey now.
Yeah, because ask that guy, why don't you like it? Well, because just liberal. What is it about liberals you don't like? Just because just bashing Bush. No, he's not even president anymore. Yeah, but liberal. It's just the same. And it's the same on the other side. Why don't you like Fox News? Just because just conservative.
Just like all of a sudden,
conservative.
it's just like, yeah, you just went gay when he talked about
No, it's California. It's not gay.
Yeah, it's
I'm going with the California.
It's conservative.
I slip into that all the time myself.
No, I do too.
Are you involved politically at all in any?
Just in my
anything,
living
or-
room.
Just in your living room, your armchair
I yell
kind
and
of.
scream. I'm very, very politically involved in my car.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you could yell and scream. Do you check in on what the other side's talking about and doing? Get yourself
Absolutely
annoyed?
not. Absolutely not.
No? Really?
No, I just don't. I don't give a fuck. It's all poppycock to me.
Is it? What do you think? Does it affect you in any way? Do you really think it affects you in any way personally? Who's in charge? Like now, today, as a matter of fact, the Republican House is going to be sworn in. Do you think that is going to affect you any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, they're not swearing in anybody else because just the Republican House.
Just the Republican House.
Do I think? I actually do. I really do. I really do think that that government plays a role in people's everyday lives. You look at things that are historic, landmark, sweeping legislative victories. Like the Civil Rights Act and Medicare and Medicaid and all that stuff. And even the abolishment of slavery, which were things that really affected the whole sort of not just spiritual,
affected the South,
but
a little bit.
And it always came with these horrific, bloody fights, and there are still people today that are railing against FDR, fucking socialist
welfare state,
hey, that's sorry to interrupt you, but slavery emancipation, was that a piece of legislation or was it an executive order? How did he it never occurred to me. How did he do it?
It ended up to be an amendment to the Constitution.
It was an amendment to the Constitution
because the original Constitution allowed for slavery, and in order to the Civil War was the execution of the unearthing of the illegality to secede from the Union, number one, and number two. Then they needed to add an amendment to correct the.
So how do you when you put an amendment, Congress has to do that, right? Or
Congress has to do that.
The vote has to be a huge lopsided vote or something.
Some guy just sneaks into the middle of the night and writes it and goes, "No, that was here."
Here.
You didn't see this?
In fact, John Boehner was in office back then.
Good old Boehner.
Well, politics are very polarizing. How many times have I said that, Lou? Hundreds.
It really is, though. But I know some actors really get on board. Like Sean Penn is going down there and meeting with Chavez, and he's always going over the Middle East and.
He's consistent. I don't agree with him, but I'll say this: he's a very consistent guy.
He is consistent,
and he's a fucking amazing actor. So it's like I love his work. He's a guy who I find annoying, but I love him so much. His work is so good. It's like you can't not like the guy.
Yeah, because some actors that are into politics, it seems like they're just trying to find more lists that they can get on.
Yeah.
It's not really about the cause. It's like I got to go. Like when I hear that the White House briefed Barbara Streisand, I'm like, don't fucking waste all these people's time.
You're doing that. That's why I like.
She just wants to know that she can jet into D.C.
That's why I like Ron just does it from his living room.
Right. I think that there are people who spend their lives, professionally doing that, and I have a different life choice professionally, and it's not. I also think that it's not necessarily helpful when entertainers get involved in things that they shouldn't. You see some of these guys that appear before Congress to testify about their pet peeve, and that kind of rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah, I don't think that helps.
Yeah, I don't think it's helpful. I think the best thing I can do for somebody I support is stay as far the fuck away from them. Because what happens if they don't like a movie I did?
Yeah,
that guy's going to lose votes.
It's an awful way for a cause to get shut down.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Police Academy 8 stunk so bad.
Yeah, fuck the unborn. That movie stunk.
That's right. So I just quietly.
Well, I mean, there's a reason I have a lead by example bumper sticker on. I mean, that's the way I feel.
Jimmy's disgusting me today. Are you getting a lot of bikers getting in touch with you and stuff? Are there some frightening people that you've met because of Sons of Anarchy?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're frightening, but they're showing us a huge amount of love.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
Are there any that don't like you? Or are there any that feel like that's not the way we are, man?
No one has emerged so far that doesn't like. I'm sure there are people sticking, pins in dolls, Ron Perlman dolls, Hellboy dolls, but. No, I've actually, we only work 5 months a year, which is the beauty of working on FX. You only do 13 episodes, so you have a lot of time to do other stuff. And between the second and third season, I was all over the United States doing various other projects. And every time it became known that I showed up in Albuquerque or Illinois, something like that, I would get a message, the guys want to sit down, and have a little sit down.
Oh, shit.
And I go, I'm, let me give you a call. Yeah. So I've yet to take advantage of it, but
flight out of it.
That's when you realize how insignificant what the New York Times has to say about your work is.
Yeah.
Well, But when the bikers actually endorse you and say, we're not that thrilled that there's, because, they're outlaws essentially at the end of the day, and they'd rather stay off the grid and off the radar. But they have shown us a huge amount of support for how nuanced the show is, how ungratuitous the show tries to stay, and how,
that you don't stereotype it and just paint a typical picture.
That we're, because pretty much every time you've seen anything with bikers, except for Easy Rider, which was not really a biker thing. It was just two guys on bikes, but it's usually pretty superficial. It's usually just they use the world, for ends that don't really service the world or that stereotype the world.
Right into a town. Rape,
do you remember
pillage,
Joe
leave.
Namath made a biker movie?
Oh, damn.
CC Rider.
CC Rider.
He made the biker movie.
And they show him walking through a supermarket and grabbing a milk carton and drinking it and then throwing it on the floor and just pushing people around a little bit.
He was crazy in that.
Crazy biker guy.
Oh, God.
Joe Namath. This show is so good, though. Have you watched it?
Sons of Anarchy rules.
It's so good. And I don't keep up with anything regularly. I can't keep. I just don't have time, and I've got kids and stuff. But
very busy man.
Every time it comes on, every time I see it, I think I can't, because a lot of dramas are too intense and too involved. And you'll see guys talking, and the scene's like this low talking. Cyrus wants to meet on Tuesday, but do we have the chips to, leverage him? And I'm like, who the fuck are you people talking about? But when I watch that show, I watch for 2 more minutes, and then I'm like, wow, they got to get Cyrus to meet. What's going to happen to him?
I hope Cyrus doesn't decide to be a no-show.
Yeah.
Do you ride? Do you?
I don't ride well. I'm not. That guy, it's funny because there's the whole rest of the cast that just loves the bikes, and then there's me. That's just
not big
an
on
actor playing a part.
Yeah,
but you have to ride.
You have to ride.
Scenes.
You
Yeah,
have to ride.
Are you like, let me go straight, and then could you get someone in here to make the turn for me?
Well, they hired me to do this part while I was doing a movie in Romania. So I literally for the pilot, and which segued right into the first season of filming. I got off a plane on Sunday night and on a Harley Monday morning. Had never been on a bike before in my life.
And those are heavy bikes to start on.
Yeah, my bike is just shy of 1,000 pounds. So
Did you regret riding motorcycles under special skills on your resume?
Yeah, I did. That and horseback riding. I pretty much lied about whatever you can think of.
Juggling, French.
The only thing I really never lied about was the knitting.
That's hard to fit that into the show.
I've never done a movie about knitting. All these years, I just took so much time out of my youth to learn how to purl and whatever. Anyway, so the first season, you'd see me pulling out in a really dramatic fashion, and then you'd see me pulling in. And the rest of it was, back of some stunt guy's head.
Stunt guy.
Then in the hiatus for the second season, I actually spent some time on a bike. Tried to find a little bit of a comfort zone, which I'm still terrified of.
Yeah, I'm
that particular
fan of the bike.
It's scary.
I'm terrified.
I like a little metal around me when I'm driving on the road.
This machine pulling you by the arms.
I mean, I don't even like
going nasty.
Pulling you by the arms.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. I used to have one, and I rode a motorcycle for like 2 years in New York City. And I was never totally unscared. I was always a little. I wanted really badly to get in an accident that wouldn't hurt me. Like that was my fantasy, and it's exactly what happened to me. I cracked the bike up really badly, and I was fine.
You can't.
So I could say, "Oh, I don't."
I'm done.
You just can't be on alert that long.
No.
Every day.
Can't scratch your nose.
You can't have like this.
No.
Sometimes when you're driving your car, you could just kind of drift off a little as long as your peripherals are working. On a bike, it's just like constant fucking on a state of alert.
Like I was in a helicopter once doing a show in Western Pennsylvania, and the guy, he's just holding up the joystick with both hands, and he says, I'm just chatting with him about how it works, and he goes, well, if I have a muscle twitch and let go, we just drop out of the sky.
Oh, great.
We would just fall.
Thanks for letting me know that.
Yeah. Oh, you should have said to him, hey, thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
That's what I should have said. That would have been
many years ago, I was going to do a film about like these Long Island bikers, and so I needed to learn how to ride. And I was still living here in New York at the time, so I took this safety course, which you're required to take first to learn how to ride the bike, but then you got to spend all this classroom time because you got to take the written test because you got to get the license, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we walk into the classroom experience, and the first thing the instructor says is, "Who here can say what the percentage of people who ride a bike get into a crash?" So one guy says 20%. He says, a little higher. And this goes on and on and on. Finally, he says, "Nobody? 100%.
Really?
And he wasn't jiving, man. I mean, if you ride a bike, you are going to crash.
At some point in your bike
you are
riding
gonna
career, you'll crash.
And you could be phenomenal at it, but other drivers are not looking for bikes.
Mm-hmm.
People are like changing lanes like crazy.
The classic is the left turn in front of people. People will just... I drive a fucking Escalade, and people turn left in front of me. Like, what are you doing?
They can't see you.
This thing is barreling
No, and on a
down
motorcycle, you're only on two wheels. So if you have a slight hitch in the flow of your driving, you fall down.
Yeah.
And in a car, if you have like, oh, whoops, then you just sort of...
back.
But there's nothing more challenging than riding a Harley and trying to send a text message back to your manager.
Have you tried doing
I'm
that?
running late,
I had a moped accident when I was 15. I did.
Wow, really fitting in, Jim.
I don't want anybody to be alarmed, but I had one when I was 15. And I flipped off the top, and I said, I'll never get on a motorcycle. It just scared me.
You never were on a motorcycle?
I was on a moped. That's what I'm saying. I would never do it after that. It scares me.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine. Sometimes I still wake up screaming.
Was the motor running, or were you in pedal mode?
Literal fucking asshole. I almost answered you. No, the motor was running. All kidding aside, I shouldn't joke about this. I really am a jizzbag.
A motorized vehicle that you can also pedal.
We got Ron Perlman in studio. We got to let him go in a few minutes, but John in Jersey has a great question. John.
Hey, Ron, just want to say love the Sons of Anarchy and all your work and some of the other movies. My question is, honestly, how big are Katie Seagal's cans? Are they really as big as they look?
It's a great question.
You know, I never looked.
never
I never looked. It's just about the eyes.
Of course.
It's all about, eye to eye.
What do you think, John?
Yeah, what do you think, John?
Extremely large. I'm just wondering if I could get a size or something like that.
He needs it for his spec bottle.
Probably best for you to go to katieseagal.com.
Yeah,
and I think there's a little column on the left which says measurements. You have to log in. I don't know. I really don't know.
Hey, Ron, have you ever
I'm trying to save my job here.
It's a funny thing. It's such a dumb thing to ask.
It really
about
is
something
a
that you know. That girl looks like she's got big tits. I got a question. Does she have big tits? Does she? I know. I mean, I see her and her tits are really big. So are they big? I just want to know if her tits are big.
We don't. I will say this, John. There's no CGI on the show. It's all. So
deal with that.
Digital video.
We got to get Ron out of here because he's doing TV. Where are you going next, Ron?
He's all over the place.
WPIX.
Oh, look at you.
Oh. The original home of the New York Yankees.
That's right. Yes. When the Scooter used to do the games before leading in the third inning.
Holy cow. You New Yorkers.
Yeah, I talk Scooter. Whoever doesn't listen.
Scooter would leave, though.
Yes, he would.
Say hi to Jill Nicolini over there for me.
Thank you. I sure will. Yes. But, I go back to when Red Barber was doing Yankees.
I don't remember Red Barber.
Red Barber here.
Yeah.
It was Frank Messer, Bill White, and the Scooter.
Yeah, no, well, that's like
70s.
For me, like third generation. It was originally the Scooter was just segueing into being an announcer. He had just stopped being the shortstop.
Oh,
when I started watching the games.
Wow.
Pre-money store.
Yeah, in fact, they hadn't invented cleats yet when I started watching Yankee games. That's not true.
No.
But anyway,
isn't that distressing that we all went really?
Yeah,
really.
But it was Mel Allen, they'll never be the better voice of the Yankees.
Mel Allen.
This Week in Baseball is where I know him from. I didn't know him as a Yankee announcer.
Yeah, he was the Yankee announcer through my entire because I started watching games during the real heyday of the franchise, which was in the 50s, which was the entire career of Mantle. Most of Yogi Berra, Whitey Ford.
How fucking old are you? You're not that old.
You're in really good shape.
Yeah.
For what you remember.
Yeah.
Those memories usually fit inside of a really disgusting bag of shit.
I know, huh?
Yeah. What a bunch of queers we are. Really? You saw Scooter play? You have a great body for that.
No, I mean, my dad walked me into a Yankee game, my first game on 1952. So I don't.
Jesus.
Yeah, I think that's why you got your action films later in life because now that you've gone gray and your whiskers look hard beaten. It's more interesting to see you chomping a cigar and fucking with somebody, looking. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you want to see a guy that looks like this. It's got the copper in his blood has started showing in his hair a little bit. It's more interesting.
He's got the look where he has the experience of fucking people up for a lot of years.
Exactly. That's somebody you want to watch a guy punch in the face.
That's a compliment, right?
I don't want to watch fucking, whenever Leonardo DiCaprio balls up his little fucking boy fists and punches somebody, you see the guy who reel back oh, and you're like, nah, he didn't hit you that hard.
Yeah.
But Ron Perlman fucks, he's one of those guys who you could actually believe that he could just turn your head and kill you, that thing.
That snap. Yeah. Head
I want to see a fist that's been holding cock since the 50s punch somebody.
That actually didn't start till 61. All right. But
after Mantle had already
once Mantle was gone, it was just me and my cock.
Oh, fuck. We got to get Ron out of here, unfortunately.
Yeah. Wow.
Season of the Witch. It's in theaters this Friday.
With Nick Cage.
Yeah.
And FX, Sons of Anarchy.
Great show.
It's a great show, absolutely. And, of course, all our other wonderful Ron Perlman gems that we love so much.
Thank you so
says,
much.
he ruined the franchise, but I love that goddamn Alien Resurrection.
Yep.
And I think, at that point, the franchise was done anyway. I don't think you had anything to do with it. You played a badass in that. I like that.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much. It's been
Thanks,
a pleasure
Ron.
being here, guys.
All right, Ron Perlman, everyone.
Robin, 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 Tell him, Fred! Fred!